Deion Sanders puts an NFL scout in his place, and boy, did it go viral. Let's look at it.
1, 2. You supposed to get the white.
Y'all start how y'all been started. Just let him do y'all thing, all right?
We get all the white.
Do what y'all do.
Don't worry.
Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? This game ain't gonna be played in Hollywood, it's gonna be played on the grass, right? It's gonna be played on the grass.
I've been broke so many times, I don't want to believe. Mama say it's my fault, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Niggas bless up on my
Hey YouTube family, before we start these videos, I want thoughts and prayers to go to the young man, Austin Metcalf, who unfortunately lost his life in a horrific way. I want to give blessings and praise to his father as well, who seems a genuine gentleman, just exceptional. I'm an identical twin myself, so this story is really heartbreaking to me. I've been really looking at it, and I see everybody is missing the point and just wishing the family well. I don't want to hear people's political views about this because I think everybody are using it for their own views and clicks and their own narratives, but everybody are forgetting that a young man unfortunately lost his life. Me being a twin, I'm gonna keep Austin close to my heart. So YouTube family, it's like this, man, and smash that like button, hit that notification bell. At the end of the day, Deion has done a lot of things to either make you like him, hate him, or respect him, and all that type of twirls or whatever. But he's going viral for what he did at Pro Day. And if you guys were watching a Pro Day with me, you guys seen me talking about it, and it actually went viral. Deion put a scout in their place. And let's look at that video before I go in, man. But this is kind of hilarious, and it's the reason why I would let my kids play for Deion Sanders.
1, 2. You supposed to get the white.
Y'all start how y'all been started. Just let him do y'all thing, all right?
We get all the white.
Do what y'all do.
Don't worry.
Now, we already know how things go. If Deion decides to get in any banters or whatever, it goes viral. So let's look at some of the articles and what actually happened. This incident basically went viral. You can see how Deion was trying to prepare his guys who are probably nervous already. And there was a scout there who I thought was his staff member. But the way Deion responded to him let me further know that was not any of his guys at all. How Deion approached him and everything was a father, a coach, and a leader, letting his guys settle in. Look, man, let's be for real and serious. I like articulating my words and all that, but that dude was a piece of ish, bruh. To see this dude, this brother on the ground doing the most, players are going there to be focused and changing their lives forever. This is a job application when you have these type of open door workouts in front of the world, in front of your future bosses. To have this guy coming in and, oh, hold the line here and stand here. It's not that serious, my guy. You're messing with the psyche of these guys when you're trying to do tit for tat. Deion had a right to do that, to engage with this guy. There was no set parameters of rules where they had to listen to this scout and do X, Y, and Z. Who are you? We don't even know who this guy was affiliated with. And it could potentially hurt some of these players if he's affiliated with a said-so team who had interest in any of these players. That thing could actually cost them with the way Deion handled it. But it can help the players as well, because maybe it was messing up the way they were preparing and getting ready for this, bro. I flat out understood and understand why Deion took that route and why he said that, because you don't know what this guy is really doing and why he's there to begin with. But nonetheless, Deion Sanders revealed what was said and what actually happened. So let's read it together and see what made Coach Prime go off and set it off. He said he was talking about you can't use the white line, but you can. You can take up all the white line as you want, Deion Sanders wrote and explained. In his own way, he explained it. So what Deion is saying is basically this guy is doing tick for tax, making up his own rules where things are not really in play like that. This is an exhibition to exhibit your talent, your skills, and your tools. And maybe in Deion Sanders' mind, Colorado, Buffalo football teams have so much naysayers. The optics of how people look at Colorado is extremely different than how they looked at every other player, especially like a Jackson Dart. Deion doesn't want his players to jump through the hoops and go through the ropes of people using anything they can to hurt these people's draft stocks. Deion want these guys to be free and relaxed. And it made perfect sense, bro. I didn't see a coach losing his mind. I didn't see a coach doing anything different than what other coaches would do. But let's pretend if he did do it different. Well, that's what makes him primetime. He doesn't copy the stitch of every other coach who just fall in line. In fact, would you want your kids to play with a coach or for a coach who only follows everybody else? No, you want your players to be coached by a leader. You want your players to get coached by a man who can walk in his own tune and understand the rules. I don't see what the much of the hoopla is. I just seen a coach protecting his players and steering them away from certain things. Now, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons with what Coach Prime did if we're telling the truth, because I'm not just some type of groupie out here. We got to look at the criticism and critique it as well. But let's look at how this thing got blown out of proportion. Now, for some reason, we know Deion goes viral. This thing was everywhere, and people didn't look at it as a leader protecting his players. They looked at him sabotaging them. Now, I could see where some people can look at it as a situation that could hurt the players, even if Deion meant it in a well-mannered shape and fashion. What I mean by that, you can conclude it as so all press and media coverage isn't good media coverage. Certain teams don't want players with a name that can get attached to any news and go viral. They just want you to be the typical football player who work for our organization and basically shut up and throw the ball or catch the ball or make the tackle, meaning that the players can come across as prima donna based on who their coaches are. We know Deion is not a prima donna, but being the guy that he is with his confidence that he exudes out there, people will call it prima donna behavior. Then they'll act like as if the players are also the same way. So they can be perceived as a headache if they get drafted. Because think about it. The scout could be looked as only a guy that's just trying to help out, and he got denigrated in front of the world by Deion Sanders. Or people can look at it as Deion Sanders is freaking out during pro day because he's hearing so much things that is being said about his players. Or me, being who I am, following and covering Colorado football, Deion could look at it as, look, man, we're getting beat up in every single ranks through this media. We don't need some scout over here dictating where my guys get in line to do their 40-yard run or whatever. And my thing is, some things are best to just leave alone. Could Deion Sanders have just left it alone and let the guy do what he did? Yes. Not that I disagree with Deion Sanders' tactics, but it's just more of the media already don't like you. Why give them more, ammunition to go against your guys? Like, during the time of the football season, you could be this braggadocious type of Deion Sanders, but when it's an NFL pro day, they don't really care about you being Deion Sanders. They don't care about you revamping Colorado's football team. These guys are just looking for studs, specimens who fit some type of prototype measurements. That's what they're looking for. So when you have this type of distraction, because it is a distraction, even though you clearly seen, I agree with Deion Sanders, but I'm not the guys evaluating you guys and giving you a job that could potentially be life-changing. So anything that could take away from who you guys are will always be damaging. And that's my thing. I wanted to say that, like, we don't need any more, things like this, man. You just don't need it during this time. Maybe for your players in Boulder, you need it, but not for guys getting ready to be drafted. I feel like some things are just best to leave alone, because maybe Deion didn't think it would go viral, but it did go viral. You have to adhere to certain advices that people give you, and I'm pretty sure Deion heard it like through the great staffs that he has, Hall of Famers like Marshall Faulk and Warren Sapp. And I'm just being honest with you guys, man. This was not needed right before the draft. We're in April already. We got 2 more weeks and a half, and it's NFL draft day. So we need to leave certain things alone and just understand anything at this moment could potentially damage your players' future earnings. Let's just be honest. Look, man, if you guys disagree with some of the things I talk about, let me know in the comment sections and we'll talk about it. But once again, rest in peace to that young man, Austin. And I'm just being honest about it. I'm not going to make no political things about it. We unfortunately lost a young soul. That should have been the only headlines and the narratives. It shouldn't be anybody's political point of views. Look, man, rest in peace and have a blessed day to everybody, man.
Heart been broke so many times.